If you're trying to achieve or get anything in this world, the question you're probably asking yourself is, what is the best way to get what I want as quickly as possible? I suggest to you a new technique that you may have heard of, you may have not heard of it, but it's called living from the end. And if I had to explain what it meant, living from the end is assuming the state of the person who already has what you want and acting in alignment with that person. It means having their behaviors, acting how they would, thinking how they would, feeling how they would, to put it simply, right? You don't have the thing yet, but the way to get it is to act like you already have it. I know it sounds a little bit insane, but I'm going to explain to you why it really works and why you might not even need the thing that you think that you need altogether. So why does living from the end work? When you look at somebody who is rich, for example, they perfected their craft. They may have worked hard every single day consistently. They went for what they wanted. They put themselves in positions to succeed. They didn't just let it come to them. They actively sought after it. So the important thing is they took action in alignment with getting rich. It wasn't the getting rich that then made them feel like I can now justifiably go for what I want. I can now justifiably work hard. I can just now justifiably perfect my craft. It was because they did all those things first that naturally attracted the result that they wanted. And when you really think about it, right, even if you don't get that rich result, you still built skills that are very valuable to a person. You perfecting your craft. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? You working hard every day to become better at the thing that you want to do. That's admirable. Showing up every single day. Consistency is not easy to show up every single day. It's not easy to have that discipline to do something even when you don't feel like it. So that's also a great goal to achieve in its own right. And 3, you put yourself in position to succeed. You don't let it come to you. You take active steps to get what you want. Right? Even having these 3 traits, even if you don't have the thing, you're still probably going to feel good about yourself, even if you don't get the external result. And in my opinion, I feel like that's what we all really want. You can feel like you want to get rich, but what do you really get out of being rich? You feel important. You feel like you're better than others. You feel confident in yourself, right? Because you was able to get so much money. Not everybody's able to do that. You probably feel pretty darn confident about yourself because you was able to do that. You feel happy because now you don't got to work at anybody else's schedule. You get to do whatever you want every single day because you got that financial freedom. Whatever your goal is, I feel like what we truly want is the emotional state that that perceived goal will bring. You may disagree with me, but I'm going to explain it a little bit more in this video. Why does living from the end actually work? Like I said, you don't really seek that external thing. You seek how it would make you feel. So just by using a bit of imagination and acting in alignment with the person who has that thing, oftentimes your brain can't even tell the difference. If you act like a person who already has everything that you want, you're going to feel that way. And when you feel that way, you're not even going to need that thing because the goal is already to feel that way. But since you already feel that way, you don't even need to get the goal no more. That is why living from the end works. And I'm going to explain how it might look like depending on what your goal is. I know for me, I have 3 things that are on my mind a lot of the time. So I'm going to explain how I might act in order to get those things, even if I don't already have them. And I'm going to explain why you would act those ways. So with me, right, the things that I want the most, the 3 things that I want the most right now in life, if I could make the screen a bit bigger, are girls, confidence, and YouTube success. Don't ask me why I want those things. It's not important. You got things that you want. I got things that I want. Let me rock. You know what I'm saying? The simple fact of the matter is I want these things, right? And getting girls, right? If I already had an abundance of girls, if I already was the guy in my mind that got the girls, I would act on my interest immediately. If I already knew I was going to get her, why hesitate? There's simply no reason to. If I already had the girls that I wanted and there was no possibility of me fumbling or messing anything up, I would express what I actually think. I would be true to myself because that feels good. I'm acting in alignment with who I am. There's no reason for me to fear any outcome of losing anybody because I already got them internally. And I don't try to win the girl. I don't try to control her. I don't force anything to happen because I already know and I have the faith and I feel like it's already going to happen. Now you can say, if you don't really have that though, isn't that cope? Isn't that delusion? Well, I might say something of this nature, right? The energy you hold will make you a lot more attractive, right? If you act on your interest immediately, it signals confidence. If you express what you actually think, It signals security, confidence, authenticity. If you don't try to win the girl and chase the outcome, it kind of gives the energy that you're already content. You don't need anything outside of yourself. Just having this energy, it might make you more attractive to the girl, which is why it might attract her towards you. But you might also say, oh yeah, I could have all these things, but she still might not be attracted to me, which you're right. But like we said, at the end of the day, getting the actual girl is not the outcome, but feeling like you already have an abundance of women is the outcome. It's the desired outcome. It's the goal. Because if you feel like you have it, if you feel like you're not in lack, there is no need to get it in the external world. So the goal is to feel fulfilled. If I had to put it in the simple terms, living from the end is to feel like you already have an abundance of whatever you want. And that's the reason why it works, because your brain, if you act in alignment with a certain action for long enough, you start to get the emotions of the person who is that way. You start to think like the person who is that way. Your brain doesn't know the difference, right? If you do something long enough, it's like playing a character in a movie versus real life. Your brain can't tell the difference between acting for a movie and real life. It just says, oh, we're doing this thing. Okay, let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me make sure I feel good so that we doing this thing, right? He keep doing this. He keeps approaching girls that don't want him. He keeps expressing what he actually thinks despite the bad consequences. He doesn't try to win the girl even though he knows he wants them. Let me make him feel okay in doing all these things, right? Because I don't like discomfort. I don't like danger. I don't like things I can't predict. I don't like feeling bad. Let's already make him feel good about these things, right? Even if he doesn't already have them. Therefore, now you feel like you have those things, to put it simply. If that doesn't make sense, you can let me know in the comment section down below. But that's not the reason I made this video to be perfect, but just to express what I feel like I want to get a better understanding of myself. And I feel like it's just a very valid way to live your life, taking more merit in being a certain person characteristic wise, showing up through your actions, your morals, having things about your person that makes you who you are on the inside as opposed to the external. Having qualities about yourself. I feel like that's really the goal. For girls, I feel like that is a good enough explanation for that, right? For confidence, just in general, I want to be a person who is not afraid to speak his mind. I want to be a person who is okay being himself. He doesn't fear judgment from other people. He's just okay existing in the world exactly as he is, right? If I was already a confident person, I would make my decisions very quickly. There's nothing to think about if I already know it's the right decision, or I know that I'm going to be okay no matter what. If I have the desire to do something, I'm just going to do it. Why think about it? Just do it. Like Nike. You feel me? I'm okay being seen. A confident person, they already feel secure within themselves. They already have all the validation they could ever need within themselves. They don't need it externally. They don't need other people to like him. They don't need other people to like them. So he's okay showing up exactly as who he is because he's already deemed himself to be a pretty cool guy. And if I was a confident person, I would let discomfort happen. Because you can't control your emotions 100% of the time, all the time. You're still going to feel bad doing things, especially if you haven't done them before. But simply having the belief that you will be okay no matter what, to know that feeling bad about something, that's not the truth. A lot of the times your feelings can lie to you. If you know that what you're doing is the right thing for you and it feels bad at the moment, but you still have the confidence that you're going to be okay no matter what, and eventually you will get used to that thing, there's no need to run from discomfort. It's just a necessary step, and eventually overcoming the thing that is currently in front of you, getting enough experience with it to then become comfortable with it, build the comfort with it, and then you'll be able to do it one day without it ever even phasing you. So yes, if I want to get confidence, I would likely act in these 3 ways. And just like, you know what I'm saying, confidence, that's not something that you have externally anyway. People can tell by the way you act, but for you to know it internally is a lot more valuable. Confidence is not about never getting nervous. It's just about doing what you want and being okay with whatever happens, right? Going for what you want and not really needing things to happen a certain way, because you already know within yourself that just you going for what you wanted is the goal. You don't need anything on the external to happen after that. As long as you put yourself in position to act in alignment with who you are and stay true to yourself, I couldn't ask for anything more, in my opinion, right? And now with YouTube success, which is, you know what I'm saying, shout out to y'all, 1K coming soon. You feel me? With YouTube success, if I was a person who was already successful on YouTube, I would post even when it's not perfect. If I already knew I was going to be, every single video was going to be a banger, I wouldn't over obsess about things happening the right way 100% of the time. Because the main idea was I had something I wanted to say, I'm going to say it, no matter how it materializes in the external world, no matter how people react to it. I know that I acted true to my desires. At the end of the day, I did what I wanted first. You feel me? I posted even when it wasn't perfect. The only reason I'm worried about perfection is because I feel like other people might judge me for me not saying things in a way where everybody unanimously can agree, oh yeah, this guy's right. You feel me? But if I don't need people to think I'm right, and I don't need people to think a certain thing about me, and I'm just acting purely on desire because I wanted to post, I would just post. And naturally, that would put me in more position to succeed on YouTube. Because when you think about it, the person who uploads a lot on YouTube, the person who's consistent, they, you know what I'm saying? They put themselves in more positions for their videos to get more views. They get more exposure. They're out on the internet more. You keep popping up in people's faces. It makes sense. In terms of getting better, posting, even when it's not perfect, if you do something long enough, if you get yourself enough experience with it, you naturally become better at it. So success on YouTube, having consistency, and putting yourself out there even when it's not perfect, those will get you the success that you want. Even if you don't get that success, just you acting on your desire, that should make you feel good about yourself. Just you getting better at something, that should make you feel good about yourself because you worked for those things. You decided to work for those things, right? On to the second dash. He speaks like himself on camera. If I already knew I was going to be successful and I already knew that no matter what I did, it was going to go swell, why wouldn't I just be myself? You feel me? And being myself, I naturally attract people who are like-minded to me. The people who don't like the videos, they'll stop watching or they'll keep hating and then I could block them. You know what I'm saying? They showed me that they're not the people for me, so I could get them out of my life. And by being myself, I attract like-minded people to me. You know what I'm saying? We can build a community of like-minded people. I can build relationships off of that. It just makes for a lot more of a positive working and existing environment. If I'm surrounded by a lot more positivity, surrounded by a lot more positive reception, even if I don't need it, it'll feel better on the outside. But I first made the decision to speak like I am because that's who I really am. Why would I hide who I am? I'm showing up as who I am because I've deemed it worthy. So if I want to be successful on the internet, showing up as who you really are, for you to truly feel like you earn that success, for you to truly feel like people are following me for me, you have to act like who you really are. You can't put on a facade. You got to really show up as who you is. And yeah, that's the end all be all. And the final bullet point, he creates because he wants to say something, not to get a certain result, but because I had something I wanted to get off my chest. I felt like saying it. So I'm going to say it. Simple as that. If I already knew I was successful, I wouldn't worry about the numbers. I have something I want to do, so I'm going to do it. And that is the whole basis, I feel, of living from the end, right? If I had to recap it one more time, to live from the end is to take the actions of the person who already has everything that you want. Imagine it in your mind. You can visualize it. How would that look? You know what I'm saying? Because you know how you could dream, right? You could visualize things in your mind too. See how it might look. Now you got direction. You see how it looks in your mind's eye. Now you can try to replicate it in the real world, right? In this external realm. But if you already feel like you have it, you don't really need to do it. But, right, the way for you to actually get it and not be a fraud about it is to eventually feel fulfilled, is to eventually feel at peace, is to eventually feel happy. And if you're anything like me, the way you've been living up to this point is contradictory. Because right now, I don't get no hosh. You know what I'm saying? In the external world. So in order for me to not feel the need to feel like I don't get hoes is to, you know what I'm saying, go try to get some hoes and feel good about not getting hoes. Because I put myself in position to get what I said that I wanted. I did everything that I could on my part to get what I wanted. And just that gives me the satisfaction, right? I don't really need you because now, even when you tell me you don't want me, I still feel good about myself. Because I said that I would do what I said that I would do. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's what living from the end is. It's feeling good about yourself. It's not in a way of, oh, I'm only feeling good by avoiding discomfort. It's feeling good by going through the discomfort, training your body, your nervous system, and your mind to be okay with that discomfort. And you're going to feel good at the end of the day, right? So it's not like discomfort's here, feeling good is here and you go all the way in this direction, you push the discomfort so far to the other side of the screen, all the bar you see is feel good, right? So you worked for it, you earned it, you earned your good feelings. That's the goal of it all. And the way to feel good is to just embody all of the external goals that you feel like you have, right? You don't really need anything externally to feel good. You can have it all internally right now if you choose to have it. And I feel like if you execute it perfectly, you really won't feel the need to get anything in life. You're just content. You're naturally happy. You're fulfilled. You're at peace. So not to say that you won't try for anything more, but you're not feeling like you lack anything at the same time. So there's nothing to achieve. You can if you want, but you don't need to feel like you need to achieve something because you feel like you need it, but because you chose it. If this video was at all, you know what I'm saying, helpful to you, I would appreciate you letting me know in the comment section down below by liking the video, commenting, and subscribing. Let me know what you think of this new type of format. Let me know what you thought of my explanation, if it helped you at all, if it was clear, what I could have done better at. I would appreciate it very much. Love you guys as always. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Love y'all. Peace.